Have you ever pulled off a massive project at the absolute last minute, running purely on adrenaline and sheer panic, only to have everyone turn around and call you a visionary genius? Well, let's jump right into this explainer and explore the utterly bizarre, hilarious, and fascinating dual reality of Princess Mia of the Tear Moon Empire. We're looking at a masterclass in how absolute panic can accidentally masquerade as top-tier leadership. We're going to unpack the timeline-altering moves of a princess who is just desperately trying to rewrite her own tragic ending. How in the world do these two vastly different destinies belong to the exact same person? The secret is actually pretty morbid. Princess Mia has a blood-stained diary from her previous life. A life, by the way, that ended with her execution at the guillotine. Now, getting a second chance, that diary magically updates based on whatever she does in the present. She's painfully aware that her quote-unquote sad scenario ends with her losing her head, unless she fundamentally alters the entire trajectory of her empire. And the kicker? She's not trying to be a hero. She's literally just trying to survive. Section 1. Recruiting the Bureaucrat. So how exactly do you save an empire when you're a pampered princess who's honestly a bit clueless? You find someone who actually knows what they're doing. Mia intentionally tracks down Ludwig. He's this brilliant young civil servant she actually banished to the provinces in her past life. The disconnect between reality and perception here is just gold. Mia desperately asks him for advice on fixing the failing finances. Ludwig, being pretty blunt, points out she doesn't even know what her own meals cost. And spoiler alert, it's his entire monthly salary. But instead of punishing him for being so bold, Mia humbly asks for his guidance. Ludwig takes this as the ultimate act of a wise, sagacious monarch who values hard truths over flattery. Boom, his loyalty is instantly cemented. If we leave things as they are, it's the guillotine for me. That right there is the engine driving this entire plot. Every single political maneuver Mia makes, every seemingly selfless act, is 100% driven by self-preserving panic. She isn't playing 4D chess or thinking about the grand tapestry of history. She is literally just protecting her own neck. But to everyone else around her, she looks like an absolute mastermind. But here's the thing. Even with a financial genius balancing your books, it doesn't really matter if there's no one left alive to pay taxes. How do you fix an empire's finances when a catastrophic plague is looming just over the horizon? That's the frantic realization hitting Mia the next time she checks that updating diary. Section 2. Preventing a catastrophic plague. Mia realizes she has to act fast. She makes this sudden, highly unusual visit to the New Moon District. It's an impoverished slum that royals would normally never set foot in. To Ludwig and her loyal maid Anne, Mia putting up with the foul smells and poverty looks like unparalleled compassion. But actually, Mia is on a highly calculated scouting mission based on some pretty devastating data. She remembers from her past life that a future plague is going to wipe out 10% of the capital's population. That horrific loss of life would also completely bankrupt the imperial treasury, undoing all of Ludwig's hard work and marching her right back to the executioner's block. So she isn't building a hospital out of the goodness of her heart. Her hand is completely forced by the math. Of course, building a whole hospital requires massive funding and the treasury is totally empty. So Mia offers up her absolute favorite, incredibly expensive hair ornament to fund the project. She hands it to Ludwig and says, "Things break when they are meant to break. They should be used meaningfully." Ludwig and the nobility hear this and are literally brought to tears. They see this sacrifice as the act of a saint, a true goddess of mercy. But let's peel back the curtain on that reality. Her actual, selfish pragmatism is hilarious. Internally, Mia's reasoning is just that she'd rather pawn the ornament right now to save her own life than have it stolen by angry revolutionaries in a few years anyway. May as well cash it in while she can, right? But this accidental act of mercy brilliantly shocks the wealthy nobility. They feel so ashamed that they start contributing their own funds, fully paying for the hospital and officially crowning Mia as a beloved goddess among the citizens. So her accidental triumphs clearly don't stop with public health. But how on earth does securing a poor, sickly writer's loyalty help prevent a violent revolution? It sounds like a super minor detail, but Mia unwittingly becomes a massive patron of the arts just by visiting her maid Anne's sick sister, Elise. Section 3. The Accidental Literary Genius. During this visit, Mia decides to offer Elise official patronage so she can write without worrying about money. On the surface, everyone in the room sees this as a grand, sophisticated gesture of cultural investment from a remarkably progressive princess. But Mia's actual motivation? Well, Elise is writing a manuscript called The Poor Prince and the Golden Dragon. Mia only recognizes this story because it was literally the only thing she had to read over and over again while locked in a filthy dungeon for years during her past life. She genuinely just wants to know how the story ends without having to wait.
This is where the comedic misunderstanding totally peaks. In her excitement, Mia accidentally spoils a highly specific duel scene on a bridge between the characters. The only problem is, Alyss hasn't even written that part yet. When Mia perfectly predicts this unwritten plot, Anna and Ludwig interpret it as Mia possessing godlike intellectual prowess and unbelievable foresight. As far as her followers are concerned, she is an absolute untouchable genius.
Section 4. Preparing for the Academy. With the immediate crises in the capital averted, spring finally arrives. Mia checks her trusty, blood-stained diary as she finalizes preparations to study at the prestigious St. Noel Academy. When you lay out her survival checklist, it's wild to see how she's inadvertently completed a massive restructuring of the state. Step 1, fix the finances by hiring Ludwig. Step 2, stop the plague by building the hospital. Step 3, patronize the arts and win the hearts of the commoners. Through totally selfish maneuvering, she accidentally stabilized the entire empire. Now she just has to execute step 4, avoid the dangerous people. And this highlights her ultimate goal for the Academy perfectly. She has specifically identified 2 individuals she must avoid at absolutely all costs: Tiona Rudolph and Sion Soles Sunklund. These are the key figures directly linked to sparking the revolution and causing her previous downfall. In Mia's mind, if she can just stay far, far away from them, she can live a long, comfortable life eating sweets. But that leaves us with a really fascinating final thought. Can a newly beloved figurehead of hope truly escape her execution just by running away and hiding from her rivals? Mia has successfully transformed from a doomed princess into a goddess of the empire. It really goes to show, sometimes the line between brilliant visionary leadership and sheer panicked survival is entirely a matter of perception. As she heads to the St. Noel Academy, the real test begins. Will her accidental brilliance keep protecting her, or is fate finally gonna catch up? It's an incredible setup, and honestly, it leaves you eager to see exactly what hilarious misunderstanding will save the Tearmoot Empire next.